What's up, everybody? How y'all doing, man? Appreciate all y'all being here. First off, before we get started with the stream, before we break down everything, answer you guys' questions. A ton of you guys told me happy birthday today. I greatly appreciate it. There was like 100 comments on my video today. People were messaging me on Twitter. We've already had some super chats from Adam. I do want to recognize these guys first. Adam, I see your $1.50 super chat with the birthday cake sticker. I appreciate that, Adam. It says happy birthday. Thank you, man. Patrick as well. Patrick, you've been supporting the channel for a while, man. You're a member. You're a member on Patreon. You super chatted a ton. $20 super chat says happy birthday, brother. I greatly appreciate that, Patrick. I see all you guys telling me happy birthday, man. I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for the birthday shout outs, for the support as always. I appreciate it, guys, but I am excited to break down the slate. This is another pretty fun slate, one of those days where there's a ton of good plays today. It's going to, making a lineup's going to be very easy. It's going to be very easy to make a lineup that you feel good about, but there's still going to be plays that you don't have that you're going to wish you had, because there's a lot of good plays today. It's tough to make a lineup that, after you make your lineup, you're going to be like, damn, I feel bad not having this guy, or I feel bad not having this guy. It's just so many good plays today. You're going to have a lot of tough decisions, especially if if Rudy Gobert gets ruled out. I mean, you've got Derek Favors you can add to that value pool. There's already a lot of great value today. You could add Derek Favors in there. Like if Darius Garland gets ruled out, you could put Colin Sexton right up there with guys like Drew Holiday and Terry Rozier. Crazy slate, man. But I'm excited to break this down with you guys. For the next hour or so, we'll answer all you guys' questions, talk through everything. And as always, man, appreciate the support. Appreciate all you guys wishing me happy birthday. I really do appreciate it. I see a question from Ross. He says, hey, Noel, what do you think of this for tonight? Graham, LeVert, Edwards, Portis, Jared Allen, Drew Holiday, Kyle Anderson, and Jaylen Brown. I like most of that. Kyle Anderson, I'm not really the biggest fan of. I really don't like many guys from Memphis today. Memphis just not a team I'm going to have much exposure to. But the rest does look solid. Graham, LeVert, Edwards, Portis, Allen, Holiday, Jaylen Brown. I like that. Anderson, I'm not really on Anderson, though. Terry Rozier is a game-time decision. He's going to play. Yes, he's probable. Terry Rozier is probable, so he's expected to play. Derek K, $4.99 super chat. I appreciate you, Derek K. Says, happy birthday, man. Do we have to choose Drew or Middleton tonight? I'm playing Portis regardless. I'm wondering if $3 is too many to cash in GPPs. I mean, Derek, we've had this situation before, last year, years before. Whenever Giannis gets ruled out, whenever Giannis doesn't play, I just play, it was Eric Bledsoe then, but, I just play Eric Bledsoe. Just play Chris Middleton and kind of move on. I'm playing them both tonight. If Portis starts, I'm playing Portis with them. I'm fine playing all three of those guys together. I wouldn't say it's a lock that Portis starts, because he did start. Giannis has only missed one game this year, and Portis did start in place of Giannis, but that was before they had PJ Tucker. They have PJ Tucker now. PJ Tucker could maybe start. But yeah, I think if Portis starts, he's one of the best value plays on the slate, and Drew and Middleton, I mean, they look like great options. I don't think you really need to try and avoid them. I guess you could, but in my opinion, I think that's a good chalk, and I think that's chalk you just kind of want to eat and move on. Find ways to get different elsewhere. I wouldn't be fading those $3. I think those are, three of the best plays on this slate by far. But I appreciate the $4.99 super chat. And Ersan as well, yeah. Ersan, whenever he was with the Bucks, he would start in place of Giannis. He was always super cheap. He would give you, most nights when he would start for Giannis, he'd play 25, 30 minutes and give you, 25, 30 DK points. He'd be a really good value play. You're basically replacing Ersan with a more productive player in Bobby Portis. So, Bobby Portis is your Ersan. Drew Holiday is a better version of Eric Bledsoe, and then we know what Chris Middleton's going to do. Graham, Rozier, Middleton, Portis, Zubac, Drew, Jaylen Brown, Sexton. I think that looks really good, Michael. That looks like a really solid lineup. Towns, Sabonis, Fox, if you had to pick one for tiers, it would be probably between Towns or Sabonis. I think now that Al Horford's out, I really do like that matchup for Karl-Anthony Towns. Whether it's Moses Brown or Isaiah Roby, the Thunder don't really have a big man that's going to, stop Towns here. So I'd probably take Towns there. What if Portis doesn't start? Is it okay? I'm still fine with him. I think, in cash games, I'd probably get off of him. But yeah, tournaments, he would still be viable. I feel like if Portis starts, he probably plays 28 to 30 minutes. If he comes off the bench, I think he plays 22, 24 minutes. So obviously his projection would lower if he's not starting, which would probably take him out of optimal builds, but he would still be a solid tournament play. I mean, we've seen Bobby Portis put up 40 DK points in 22 minutes. Like, he's a really, good point per minute player. But there's other value on the slate. I don't think, like, in cash games I'd be playing Portis if he comes off the bench. Your thoughts on the center spot for OKC against the Wolves with no Horford? Happy birthday. I appreciate that, Rick. Center spot for OKC against Wolves. I mean, yeah, I think Moses Brown probably is going to start and play, around 30 minutes. The only risky part with Moses Brown is he really, has trouble with fouls. Fouls are an issue for him. Going up against Karl-Anthony Towns, like, he could definitely get into some early foul trouble. That's my only concern. But the production, it should be there. Like, Moses Brown, he's been a productive player when he gets minutes. He's been a fantasy point per minute player. At 5,100, if he can just stay out of foul trouble, and I would assume he plays around 30 minutes if he can, that makes him a really solid option. But like if Bobby Portis is starting, I'd rather play Bobby Portis for $1,000 cheaper. Sorry if I'm late, but Biyombo for cash, I probably wouldn't be playing Biyombo in cash on this slate. I think he's viable. He's cash viable, but like if Bobby Portis starts, I would greatly prefer Bobby Portis. I don't think you need to go down to Biyombo today. There's not a ton of like, the most expensive player on the slate is Cat, and he's 9,500. Like, there's no Lukas or Hardens or Westbrooks on this slate. You don't need to, like, punt that cheap, I don't think. Like, there's a lot of good plays in the 4 to 5K range that I like. You play those guys, and, you can basically get the studs in you want. Biyombo's viable, just I don't think I'd go there in cash. Much love from Turkey. Hey, I appreciate you watching all the way out from Turkey. That's awesome. All three top Hornets too much for one lineup. So you're saying Hayward, Rozier, and like Devontae Graham. I'm assuming that's who you mean. I'm fine playing those three all in one lineup. I don't think that's a problem at all. PJ Tucker might ruin everything. I mean, yeah, he could. I mean, if PJ Tucker starts, I'm not playing him. But yeah, if he starts, that would obviously lower my interest in Bobby Portis. He'd still be viable though. I'll just bump him down a little bit if he's not starting. My lineup for today. What do you think? John Wall, Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Larry Nance, Bobby Portis, Graham, Middleton, Van Vliet. I mean, for the savings, like I know it's going to be the chalky route, but for the savings, I'd rather have Drew over Van Vliet. But the rest looks pretty solid, Stoney. John Wall, I do like quite a bit. Now that we know Oladipo is officially out, I do like John Wall a lot. John Wall is definitely too cheap on DK with Oladipo out. So definitely like him as well. Graham, Middleton, Holiday, Portis, Zubac, Brown, Wall, Rozier. That looks pretty good, Mitchell. Pretty good to me. Do we play Moses Brown tonight? I haven't decided yet if I'm playing him. I don't know yet. I mean, I think it depends on if Bobby Portis starts or not. But obviously, I don't know if we're going to get that news before the OKC game starts. But like if Bobby Portis starts, I mean, he's probably going to be my center. So I'm worried about the foul trouble. I feel like it's going to come back to bite me. Like if I play Moses Brown, he's going to get in foul trouble. If I don't play him, he's going to play like 32 minutes and have like 40 DK points. But the foul trouble is a huge concern against Cat. That's just my one worry with Moses Brown. I exchanged Kyle Anderson for Miles Bridges. I mean, yeah, that's fine, I guess. I don't really like Miles Bridges much either, but that's fine. I'd probably rather have Bridges over Anderson. Mr. Golf and More, $5 super chat. I appreciate that, man. He says, happy birthday. I use your advice every day, and I'm better at DFS now. I love you, Noah. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the super chat. I'm glad the advice and my videos have helped. That's awesome. Thank you for the super chat, though. Horford out, Cat one of the best plays tonight. I mean, he's clearly one of the top projected players. I mean, he's the most expensive player on the slate. Obviously, Giannis is not playing, so yeah, Cat, he's a top option for sure. And it should be fairly easy to get him in if you do want to go that route. I will say the mid-range does look really good. Like, you got, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown without Kimba. Really like them. Obviously, you got Middleton and Drew. You got Rozier in the mid-range. Like, I think Paul George is a little bit too cheap in this matchup against the Hawks. I have interest in him. John Wall, I like a lot now that Oladipo's out. Like, there's a lot of good plays in the 6 to 8K range, 9K range, I guess you could include there. Like, the 6 to 8K range, I think, is really loaded. But, yeah, Cat's a great play, obviously. Brown or Zubac at 5,100. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a decision a lot of people are going to have to make. Brown and Zubac, I think, both project very well for their salaries. Like, it's so close. I think I'd probably give the edge to Zubac just because I don't worry about foul trouble as much with Zubac as Brown, but both are good options. I mean, you could play both if you wanted to. Brown and Zubac both look really good at their price points. Who's your favorite spend-up option? I mean, it's probably Towns. I don't know if I'm playing Towns. Like I said, I really like a lot of guys in the 7 to 8K range, but yeah, it would probably be Towns. Could you play Dante DiVincenzo instead of Holiday? I mean, you could. I don't know if that's something that I'm going to be doing personally. Like Dante DiVincenzo, I feel like he's been playing a bit over his head. Like he's normally not a guy that goes out there and puts up 40 DK points a night. Obviously, he gets a bump without Giannis, and he averages about a fantasy point per minute with Giannis off the floor this year. I just feel like you're kind of overpaying for Dante DiVincenzo, whereas Drew Holiday I feel like is underpriced. I mean, I think DiVincenzo's in play, but he'd be like my fourth or fifth favorite Buck, behind Drew, Middleton, Portis. He'd be behind those guys. Thoughts on PG and Tatum? I mean, yeah, Bryce, I like both of them. I think both are definitely in play. Tatum and Brown I like quite a bit. I mean, it's hard not to with Kemba out. I think Tatum and Brown are both like really good plays. Paul George as well. I have 24 left on Yahoo for util. Already have Graham, Rozier, Drew, Middleton, Tatum, Brown, Portis. What do you request for util? Already have Graham, Rozier, Drew, Middleton, Tatum, Brown, Portis. You like 24. So let's see. I know obviously Rozier is 24, but you already have him. I'd probably either take like Jakob Poeltl for 21, or I guess you could go Karis LeVert for 24. I don't love LeVert on this slate, but it would probably be like him or Jakob Poeltl. I would take there. Hey, Noah, double centers, Capella and Wood. I mean, me personally, like in my lineup, I don't know if I'd be going that route just because, we have good value at center. You got Zubac, Brown, Portis if he starts. Those guys I like a lot. But Capella and Wood are both fine. It's crazy. They said Wood was on a minutes restriction last game and he played like 36 minutes. So I assume he plays like 36 minutes again. So yeah, Christian Wood, Capella, both viable. Just I like some of the pay down options we have at center today. Portis and Graham, best value place tonight. I mean, if Portis starts, I think he's one of the best values. I'm assuming that Devontae Graham starts for LaMelo. Keep an eye on it. They could do something weird and start like Malik Monk and then move Rozier to point guard. But I'm assuming Graham starts. So if Graham starts, if Portis starts, I think, they're two of the best value plays. They're going to be very popular, but, I think for good reason. Sexton or Wall, thanks and happy birthday, bro. I appreciate that, John. I mean, between those two, that is super, super close. Sexton, I would say that if Garland is out, I would probably take Sexton. But, man, both those guys I think are really good options. Wall obviously gets a nice bump with Oladipo out. And then Sexton, he's already, it's a good matchup against Sacramento. He's already a good play. But he would get an even bigger boost, if Garland were to sit. So I would say if Garland's out, I would play Sexton. But it's really a coin flip. I like both. Galvin Rico, $5 super chat. Hey, Galvin, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the super chat. You didn't leave a message, but I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Thoughts on SGA tonight? I mean, SGA is viable, but like, there's so many guards I like priced around him. I mean, I think I'd rather have Paul George. I'd rather have Jaylen Brown for a little bit cheaper. Tatum as well. Obviously, you got Van Vliet, or not Van Vliet, but I got Middleton and Drew Holiday. Even Van Vliet, I think, is a little bit too cheap. Like, SGA is viable, but I don't know. I think he's not someone I'm really like starting my lineup with. I think if I have 8,300 left from my last spot, I'm fine playing SGA there. But I just don't think I'm playing SGA on this slate personally in my one lineup. Should we be worried about Wall's minutes? I mean, I don't think so. Like, he's not on the injury report, so I'm assuming he plays normal minutes if it's a close game. Cyan, I appreciate the $5 super chat. Happy birthday, man. Long-time follower. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. Yahoo best forward below $35, more like Collins, Edwards, Hayward. Below $35 at forward. Well, I'm assuming you already have Middleton. If you don't have Middleton, I'd play Middleton. But yeah, it'd probably be between Edwards or Hayward. I think I'd rather have Gordon Hayward, but that's close. I do like both those guys at forward. I'd probably rather have Gordon Hayward. But I think Gordon Hayward, he's another guy that gets a little bump with LaMelo out. Him, Rozier, Graham, all in play for me. I'd probably take Edwards there, but Hayward, but it's close between him and Edwards. Happy birthday, Noah. If Gobert sits and Favors starts, Portis or Favors, thank you, Cornelius. I appreciate that. Between those two, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, if Gobert's out and Bobby Portis starts, like, I'm probably playing Bobby Portis and Derek Favors. On DraftKings, you can play both of them. On Yahoo, you can play both of them. Like, I'd probably play both, but I guess I'd probably take Favors, honestly. If Favors starts for Gobert, if Gobert's out, I'd probably take Favors over Portis. But, like, I'd want to play both, honestly. Those would be two of the best value plays. Happy birthday. I appreciate that, Jenna. How do we get different tonight? Any position we can exploit where everyone will be paying down? I guess center. I mentioned it earlier. I like a lot of these cheap centers. Moses Brown, now that Horford's out, Zubac with Ibaka out, they're both 5,100. I think they're going to be somewhat popular, but for good reason. Daniel Tice, a cheap center option that stands out. I like him quite a bit. And obviously you have Bobby Portis if he starts for Giannis. You could play him at 4,100. You have Derek Favors potentially you could play for value if Gobert gets ruled out. So I would say center's like the position that not many people are going to be paying up at. Cat might get a little bit of ownership, but I don't see Sabonis being that popular. Same with Christian Wood. J Val's going to be super low owned. Jared Allen will probably be super low owned. So it'd probably be like center is the position people are going to be looking to spend down at. So if you want to get contrarian, you could pay up at center. PG or Kawhi, I'd probably take PG for the savings, but both are in play. It's a really good matchup against Atlanta. We know PG and Kawhi are going to dominate the usage, so I like both those guys. I think I'd rather have like Jason Tatum for cheaper over Kawhi, Jaylen Brown for cheaper over Kawhi. I like both those Celtics with Kimba out, but yeah, PG, Kawhi, both are in play. I'd probably take PG though. Happy birthday, man. I appreciate that, Nathan. Gordon Hayward or Jaylen Brown? If you have the salary, I would rather play Jaylen Brown between those two. Mitchell or Leonard? Give me Kawhi over Donovan Mitchell. I don't really have interest in many Jazz tonight outside of Favors if Gobert sits. Like Mitchell, Clarkson, Ingles, I'm just not playing. I don't really play those guys when the team is fully healthy. They've all got kind of priced up for when that one game where Conley was out. So really, I don't like many Jazz tonight outside of Favors if Gobert were to sit. Happy birthday. I appreciate that, Clement. What do you think of that lineup for today? Drew, Van Vliet, Wall, Brown, Keldon, Theis, Zubac, and Brogdon. Keldon Johnson, I feel like you're kind of overpaying for him at this point. I just don't think Keldon Johnson's going to be a guy that puts up 35, 40 DK points every night. He's just not that productive of a player. Even with LaMarcus Aldridge out, he still hasn't been that good. Except, these last few games he's been better. But outside of Keldon, I think that's pretty solid. I don't have much interest in Keldon, though. I feel like everyone has the same lineup tonight. Yeah, I would say this is going to be one of those slates where there's a lot of duplicated lineups. If you play cash games and you're in double ups, you're going to see a lot of people with the same lineup in double ups just because it's very clear, there's a clear optimal construction tonight and a lot of people are going to be on it. Everyone in cash is going to have Drew, Middleton, Portis if he starts. Everyone's going to have those three guys. Everyone's going to have Devontae Graham. It's basically like a 4v4 for tonight, which not really fun, but I don't know. I guess you got to make your opponents, make the right decisions. We think Devontae Graham, Portis, all these guys are going to be super popular, but maybe they won't be. We'll just have to see. Best forward option on DK under or 5,500 and under. Already have Portis. So best forward option 5,500 and under. Let's see. I would say if you could find $100, I'd play Isaiah Roby with Horford out. I assume Isaiah Roby starts at power forward, and then they start Poku at small forward since Dort's out as well. I'd say Roby there, but I guess my next favorite option would probably be Daniel Tice for 4,800. I'd take there. Miles Bridges or Brook Lopez? I'd probably rather have Brook Lopez between those two. Cat or Sabonis? I think I'd rather have Cat, but that is a close one between Cat and Sabonis. I think I'd rather have Cat, though. Graham, Zubac, or Portis straight up. If Portis starts, I'd take Portis. So, yeah, I'd go with Portis there. Noah, DK Golf, did you play this past weekend? I didn't play on DK, but I did play on Yahoo. I play one lineup on Yahoo for golf basically every week. I didn't have a great golf week. I had Doug Gim, who missed the cut. I got 3 out of 6 last week. But yeah, I had Doug Gim, who missed the cut. Someone else missed Benny On missed the cut right on the number, which he was +4 going into the back 3, and then he eagled the last hole to get him to +2, but that still wasn't enough. Yeah, I had Benny Hahn, who missed the cut. I had Doug Gim, and I think I had Ryan Moore as well. He missed the cut. It wasn't a great golf week, but I don't know this week in golf, I don't even know what the tournament is. I don't think I'm playing this week. I think it's like the Corrales, and that's just not a fun tournament. There's no shot tracker for the Corrales. I just probably won't be playing golf this week. Hey, Noah, happy birthday, man. Just got home from work. Hey, well, I appreciate you tuning in, Brandon. And thank you for the birthday wish, man. Appreciate it. Holiday or Rozier? Give me Drew over Rozier. I mean, both are really good plays, but give me Drew. Happy birthday, bro. I appreciate that, Will. I appreciate that, man. I guess my questions are going to get skipped. Good luck to everyone tonight, though. I didn't see your questions, DD. Please ask them again. Oh, Brogdon, I got you. Yeah, Brogdon. I mean, I think Brogdon's a lower-owned tournament option. I don't see him being that popular on the slate because he's priced around guys like Drew, Rozier, who are going to get a lot more ownership. I'm fine with Brogdon. I don't know if he's someone I'd really be starting my lineup with, but yeah, it's like a last piece in. Totally fine with Malcolm Brogdon. If you want to factor in the revenge game, it's a revenge game for him. Where's the value at? I heard Giannis is doubtful. Well, Giannis has already been ruled out. The value, if Bobby Portis starts for Giannis, he's probably the best value. Giannis has only missed one game this season, and Bobby Portis started the one game Giannis was out. Played one $12 single entry on DK. Still did not get 6 through, but did get 5 through. Finished 12th, $300. Can't believe it. Hey, that's still a good finish, Mark. I would say $12 single entry. You turn $12 into $300. I'd take that. Any day of the week. That's a great ROI. Does Rubio have higher upside than Rozier? I'd probably prefer the upside on Rozier. I mean, Rubio's definitely been a lot better lately, but I think I'd still take Rozier. Thoughts on DeRozan? I mean, I'm not playing DeRozan on this slate. I just think he's a little bit overpriced, especially when you have Middleton, you have Jason Tatum, you have Jaylen Brown. Like, those are guys I'd just rather have over DeRozan straight up. So I probably won't be playing DeRozan personally. John Wall, 50 points or 20 points tonight. I feel you there. I feel like John Wall's either getting like 50 tonight or he's getting like 25. Like, John Wall's either going to kill your lineup or he's going to, be really, really good. I would lean towards him being, really good with Oladipo out. The blowout's a concern, but I think now that they have Christian Wood, I think this Rockets team can keep games more competitive than they were before. So I lean towards the first there. I do like John Wall quite a bit. I think he's definitely underpriced. Smack that like button, everyone. Give the man some love for his birthday. Yeah, hit the like button, guys. I do always appreciate all the likes, and I appreciate all you guys being here. Thoughts on Poku? I mean, I don't have much interest in Poku. Like, he had those 1 or 2 games where he was really good, but I think lately he's just kind of been, mediocre at best. He was decent last game against Houston, but there's just so many other... Like, I'd rather have Daniel Tice over Poku. I'd rather have Bobby Portis, obviously. I'm just not really interested in Poku. I think he's not a great point per minute player, so... in a good matchup against Minnesota, could you get 30 DK points from Poku tonight? You absolutely could, but I think you just get more upside from some of those other guys we've talked about. Buddy Hield and Christian Wood or Jaylen Brown and Barnes? Probably take Buddy Hield and Christian Wood there. That's a close one, though, but I'd probably take the first one. 21 years young. I'm actually 22, Nathan. I'm 22 now. 22. Favors if he's starting Graham or Zubac? That would probably be between Graham or Favors. I'd probably take Graham, but that would be close between him and Favors. I feel like PJ Tucker will get the start for Giannis. I mean, it's possible. I'll be honest, it's very possible they do that. But I'm just based off what they did last time Giannis was out, they started Bobby Portis, so I'm just going to assume that Bobby Portis starts again. Plus, they're facing a big Pacers front court, so you would think maybe they'd want like a Bobby Portis out there alongside Brook Lopez. Thoughts on Moses Brown? Yeah, we've already mentioned Moses Brown. He's a really good play. The only concern is that he struggles with fouls, and this is a matchup where he could definitely get into foul trouble against Karl-Anthony Towns. But as long as he can stay out of foul trouble, I'd expect Moses Brown plays, around 30 minutes. He's been a point-per-minute player this year with Horford off the floor, so Moses Brown at 5,100, definitely too cheap if he does play 30 minutes. Just the foul trouble, that's a concern. Moses Brown or Favors? If Gobert gets ruled out, I'm going to prefer Favors for the discount, so I'll take Favors there. Happy birthday, Noah. Thanks for always trying to help us out. I appreciate that, Kevin. Thank you for being here, man. Marcus Smart or someone different on Yahoo? I'm fine with Marcus Smart. I think he's $20. I don't know if there's anybody priced around him that I'd rather play. So, yeah, I'm fine with Marcus Smart there. Happy birthday, Noah. Favorite mid-range guard? I mean, it's probably got to be Drew for me, assuming you don't already have him. If you already have Drew, then it would be either like John Wall or Colin Sexton if Garland's out. So, like one of those 3 guys. Drew would be my first one, though, if you don't already have him. I mean, Terry Rozier you could put into that category as well. Siakam or Dejounte Murray? I'd probably rather have Siakam between those two. Wall or Sexton? Yeah, Mark, we already got this question earlier. For me, right now it's John Wall, but if Darius Garland gets ruled out, then I think I'd rather have Colin Sexton. I feel better about Sexton's minutes. I feel better about that Cleveland game staying close. And the matchup's a little bit better for Sexton. So, yeah, I'll give the edge to him if Garland sits. If Garland plays, it's a toss-up, honestly. It would be super close. Thoughts on Bogdan with Atlanta at 3,900? I don't have much interest in him because DeAndre Hunter, I think, has a chance to play today. Last I saw, he was questionable. I think he said he was going to play, but then we just got an update recently that he was questionable. So just keep an eye on that. If DeAndre Hunter remains out, you could play Bogdan. He's cheap. He's been getting minutes recently. I think he did get like 30 minutes last game. But like right here it says DeAndre Hunter, game time decision. So if DeAndre Hunter plays, I don't have really any interest in Bogdan. Happy birthday, Noah. Enjoy your day. Let's get this money. Hey, let's get it, Scratch God. Let's get it, man. Appreciate you being here. Bobby Buckets Portis viable? Yes. If Bobby Portis starts tonight for Giannis, he is one of the best value plays on the slate. He's going to be super popular, but for good reason. Sabonis today? I mean, yeah, I like Sabonis. Him, Tatum, Cat. Those are probably like my three favorite pay-up options above 8K. We don't have like any elite studs on this slate, so like Tatum, Sabonis, Towns. Those are kind of the guys I'm looking to pay up for today. Sabonis, very easy to get to. I think he's really good option, obviously. Definitely a little bit underpriced at 9K, I would say. And matchups a little bit better with for him with Giannis out. Drew or Middleton, if we have to choose. I mean, Derek, like I'm playing both, but if you had to choose one, I'd probably take Middleton just because I think guard's a little bit deeper of a position than forward is. Whereas guard, like you have, you got Sexton, you got Wall, you got Terry Rozier, you got Devontae Graham, you got so many good plays at guard. There's also some good plays at forward that I like, but I would probably take Middleton. If I had to take one, I like both, though. Garland, Gallo, or Halliburton for cash. I mean, I don't know if any of those three guys are cash viable for me on this slate, but it would probably be Garland if I had to take one, assuming he plays. I don't feel like you want to be going to any of those guys in cash, though. Thoughts on Pat Connaughton as a value? Already have Holiday, Portis, Leonard, and PG in my lineup. Also, drink of choice for your birthday today. I mean, I'll be honest, Lamar, I don't really drink at all. I mean, I'm 22. I'm able to drink, but I really don't. So, I just don't drink, I'll be honest. But Pat Connaughton as a value, he's risky. Like, he should get a few more minutes with Giannis out, but on this slate, I don't know if we need to go there with so many good plays. I don't know if we really need to take the risk on Pat Connaughton. I guess you could, but I don't think that's something that I would be doing personally. So, just my thoughts. I'm not really that interested in Pat Connaughton, unless by some chance he starts, which could happen. I don't think that's going to be the case, but could happen. Then he'd become more appealing. Would you play four Celtics, Tatum, Brown, Smart, and Tice? I don't think I'd be playing all four of those guys on this slate with so many other good plays today, but I think two is fine, like Tatum and Brown, or Tatum and Smart, or Tatum and Tice, or Brown and Tice. Like, two is totally fine. Three may be the max. Like, I guess you could play Tatum, Smart, and Tice, or Tatum, Brown, and Tice. I definitely would not be playing all four of those guys, though. Because then if you're playing all four of those guys, you're not getting, Drew, Middleton, so many of these other good plays we talked about. You'd be avoiding those guys. Willie Jones, $5 super chat, says, happy birthday. I appreciate that, Willie Jones. Thank you, man. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. How many points do you project Hayward getting? I mean, I don't do projections or anything. Like, rough guess, I would say if you look at any projection system, they're probably going to have Hayward projected for like 35 minutes and probably 40 DK points. So I would say 40 is like a rough projection for him. My best guess is if you look at any projection site, they've got Hayward projected for around 40. Any interest in Capella? I mean, I think he's just a lower-owned tournament play. We've discussed it already. Like, center has so much good value today. So many guys in the 5K to 4K range that look good that I don't see a ton of people paying up at center. So if you want to play Capella at low ownership, you definitely can. My worry, though, is his minutes have kind of been trending down lately. Like, he hasn't been getting the big minutes recently, which has kind of resulted in his price coming down. Like 23, 26, 27, 28. He hasn't played 30 minutes in 4 straight games. And it's not like these were blowouts either. I mean, these were close games. So that's my one concern, but we know Capella is such a productive player that, in 30 or in 26 minutes, he could give you 45 DK points. He's a tournament play. I wouldn't play him in cash games. I don't feel good playing him in like my optimal lineup. But tournaments, low ownership, you could definitely go there. Do you know why the other night they didn't say Gobert was playing until literally tip off? I want a favor so bad, but they never updated it. Well, I think they did finally update it, but it was super late. It was like 10 minutes before the game started, 5 minutes before the game started. I'm pretty sure I can't remember. I think there was word that like Favors, or one of the beat writers tweeted out that Favors was Gobert was questionable, but he was expected to play, or he was warming up and expecting to play. So once I saw that tweet from the beat writer, I just assumed that Gobert was in, and then we got the word, at whatever, like 5 minutes before tip-off that he was officially playing. But yeah, they did update that super late. I mean, I'm assuming Gobert plays again. He was questionable last game and he played. I'm assuming he's questionable today. He's going to play again, but just keep an eye on it. What time does Utah play? I think they're a late game. Yeah, they play at 9, so I doubt we'll have that news before lock, but, all the best plays today come in those, 9 o'clock games and the 8:30 games, so you'll be able to late swap if you need to. Harrison Barnes or Larry Nance, probably would take Harrison Barnes there. Between those two, I don't have a ton of interest in either one on this slate, but I'd probably take Harrison Barnes if I had to take one of those two. Also in my lineup, SGA, Drew, Middleton. I don't know who that is. Graham, Portis, Moses Brown. I mean, that looks... I don't know who Subacute is. I have no idea who that is. Subacute. Yeah, I have no idea who that is. I don't know if you misspelled something, but SGA, Drew, Middleton, Graham, Portis, Moses Brown. That's those 7 guys I definitely have interest in. Or 6 guys. Turner as a fade to Brown. I mean, I guess you could play Miles Turner, but I never play Miles Turner. Like, the only time I ever play Miles Turner is when Sabonis sits and Sabonis misses games. Like, I haven't played Miles Turner at all this season. I'd rather have, Brown for cheaper. Even with the foul trouble concern, I think I'd rather play Moses Brown over Turner. Is Daniel House viable on this slate? Probably not, but... I mean, without Oladipo, I guess, I don't know who they're going to start with Oladipo out. I would think it'd probably be Kevin Porter if he plays. Kevin Porter's questionable. Has House been starting recently? I think he might have. I haven't even looked at House on this slate. He's been getting good minutes. I assume he has been starting. I mean, I haven't really looked at Daniel House on this slate. Like, I'd rather have Bobby Portis. I'd rather have Daniel Tice. There's other guys I prefer that are priced around him, but I assume House will be super low owned. If you want to go there in tournaments, I guess you can. I would say he does get a little bump with Oladipo out, but the only Rockets I'm interested in today are Wood and Wall, and mainly John Wall. He's the guy I'm looking to from Houston. Oh, Zubac, I got you, Michael. Yeah, Zubac I like quite a bit. So yeah, that's a solid lineup. He says it was like super cute. I didn't know what he meant. I guess auto-corrected there. But yeah, Zubac, obviously a great play. We've talked about him multiple times. Wall or Sexton? Yeah, Hayden, we've had this question asked a lot already. For me right now, I would take John Wall, but if Darius Garland gets ruled out, then I would probably take Sexton. But both are really good plays. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one on this slate. Great matchup for Sexton. He's playing a ton of minutes. He'd get a bump if Garland were to sit. John Wall, obviously too cheap with Oladipo now out. The matchup's better for Sexton. I think both guys give you a ton of upside, though. Sexton's probably safer just because he's going to play more minutes and his game is more likely to stay close. But I like both. I like both of them. Zubac or Moses Brown, that's another question we've gotten a lot. For me, I think it's Zubac just because I'm not as worried about foul trouble for Zubac as I am with Moses Brown. You could play both. You could play neither. You could play one of the two. But I think Zubac and Brown are both very solid center options today. I'd take Zubac, though, I think, between the two. Happy birthday, brother. I appreciate that, KMB Squid. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. We had a ton of people, man. A ton of people reached out to me in my comment section on videos. Obviously, a lot of you have messaged me or put in the chat, happy birthday. I appreciate all of you, man. I don't know if I read everyone's birthday message, but I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Halliburton or Marcus Smart? With Kemba out, I think I would rather have Marcus Smart there. I know Marcus Smart really hasn't been that good lately, but with Kemba out, he does get a bump. He's much more productive when he starts at point guard with Kemba off the floor. So I would rather have Marcus Smart between those two. Any interest in Satoransky? I think if this was a different slate, Satoransky would definitely be someone I'd be looking to. he's still a solid value. He still does project pretty well for his salary. It's just we have so much, other good value today. But still, like Satoransky, I think he's 4,400 on DK. Yeah, 4,400. The matchup's not great, but he's going to start, play 28 to 30 minutes. He's been relatively productive when on the floor and when in the starting lineup. So I definitely like Satoransky. It's just, if it were a different slate, I'd be a lot more interested. I think with today, with all these good values, with Devontae Graham, Bobby Portis, these guys for cheap that really stand out. I don't know if I need to go to Satoransky. I don't know if I need that, need those savings. If you just play Portis and Graham, that's going to give you enough salary to really get to any of those studs you want. Happy birthday. I appreciate that, Conscious Machine. I appreciate that, man. Anthony Edwards. Yeah, I have interest in Anthony Edwards. Again, there's guys priced around them that I prefer. Like, I'd rather have Jaylen Brown. I'd rather have Chris Middleton. But obviously, those guys are probably going to be a lot more popular. So it really just comes down to your lineup. If you have a chalky lineup, then maybe you play Anthony Edwards. If you already have a lot of low-owned guys in your lineup, then it probably makes sense to maybe eat the chalk with that small forward spot and play Brown or Middleton. But yeah, I do like Anthony Edwards. He's just been taking a ton of shots. He's been playing a ton of minutes. For DFS, he's been really good lately with Beasley and Russell out. Portis or Wood? For the savings, I would rather have Bobby Portis. Like on a point per dollar basis, if Portis starts, I think he's one of the best point per dollar values on the slate. Reggie Johnson, $25 super chat. My God, Reggie, I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the $25 super chat. Happy birthday, broski. Enjoy your day. Thank you, Reggie. Thank you for the support, man. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. What are you doing for your birthday? Well, Saturday, me and my girlfriend, we were supposed to go do a bunch of stuff. Like, we were supposed to go out to eat and do all this fun stuff. But I woke up Saturday morning and I was just super, super sick. Like, I was dizzy as fuck. So we didn't wind up going. But we're planning on going, this coming Saturday. So we're going to be doing some fun stuff Saturday. Tonight, we're going out to eat with my family. But I don't really party or nothing. I'm not a partier. I just kind of do stuff with my family. I do stuff with my girlfriend. So, but yeah, we are going out to eat tonight. I guess that's what we're doing with my family. What are your thoughts here? So Kawhi and Sexton or Shea and DeMar? I'd probably take Kawhi and Sexton there between those two. Shave that chin and go full crut wig. I got to keep something down here. Lets people know I'm a little bit older than I actually am. If I didn't shave, I wouldn't look like 20, or I wouldn't look 22. I already don't look 22. I look like I'm 17. But if I didn't have this chin hair, any hair on my face, I'd look like I was 12. So I got to keep something on my face. Portis and Graham might be over-owned. They're going to be very popular. Are they going to be over-owned? I guess we'll see, but I'm playing both of them. If Portis starts, I think he's one of the best values, and I'm assuming Devontae Graham starts, and he projects as one of the best values today. So, full transparency, I'm playing both those guys. If Portis does not start, I might swap off of him. It'll just depend on what I can swap to later in the night. Barnes, Middleton, or Hayward, which two would you choose? I'd definitely rather have Middleton and Hayward between those two, or between those three. Give me Middleton and Hayward. Paul George or Zach LaVine? I'm taking Paul George there. How sure are you that Rozier plays? Well, last we got an update was that he was probable, the last update we got. So probable means likely to play. Obviously, LaMelo was probable, and then, it comes out and he's got a fractured bone in his wrist. So I guess when it comes to the Hornets, probable doesn't necessarily mean probable, but I'm assuming that Rozier plays. I was thinking Wall, Sexton, Edwards, Portis, Favors, Holiday, Middleton, Rozier. That's very solid, Phil. Obviously, yeah. Favors depending on Rudy Gobert, but yeah, that's very solid. Rozier or Sexton for cash? I think both would be cash viable for me. I would say that if Darius Garland is out, I would probably take Sexton. A couple of your favorite GPP plays. I don't want to mention any of the chalky plays, like the Milwaukee guys, the Hornets guys, because obviously they're going to be very popular. So I would say Trae Young. I think Trae Young's going to be super low owned. He feels underpriced, 8,800. I like him for tournaments. I don't know if the Boston guys are going to get a ton of ownership. Like Tatum and Brown obviously are going to pop, but I don't know at their price points if they're going to be super popular tonight. So I would say those two Boston guys, Tatum and Brown, Trae Young for tournaments. I don't want to say, these Middleton, Drew, Portis, Graham, obviously those are some of the best plays on the slate. I don't need to. I'd still be playing those guys in tournaments, but when you're asking favorite GPP plays, I'm assuming you mean, guys that are lower owned. So those are a couple guys I'd look to for lower ownership. Does your girlfriend like the facial hair? I mean, she's fine with it like this. It definitely gets kind of bad. Like, there was one time where, like, I had some hair, like, down to here, and it was just really bad. Like, my mustache, I don't get, like, a thick mustache, but I do get, like, I don't know. It doesn't get too thick, but sometimes it gets to the point where it definitely, like, it needs to be shaved. She doesn't like the mustache. She's fine with this, though. Better play, Edwards or Van Vliet? Probably Van Vliet between those two. Probably Van Vliet. I made my lineup too easy, feel like it'll be chalky. Yeah, that's how this slate goes, man. Like, you can very easily build a lineup that, it just, like, you build out a lineup and you just feel like it's just too good of a lineup. That's how one of those slates are. Or, like, the lineup's just too easy to make. It's like everyone just fits perfectly. I mean, it's very likely that a lot of other people are going to have that lineup if that's the case, but yeah. Mark Bray, $10 super chat. Happy birthday, Noah. Enjoy. I appreciate that, Mark Bray. Nate Conley, $30 super chat. Damn, Nate Conley. Thank you, man. He says, happy birthday, GOAT. I appreciate both of you guys, Mark and Nate. Thank you guys so much for the super chats, man. Thank you. God, you guys have been showing a ton of support today. I greatly appreciate it, man. I know it's my birthday and all, but these donations are crazy, man. Thank you, guys. Do you like Bobby Portis? I mean, Tate, I don't know where you've been, but we've talked about Bobby Portis basically the whole stream. If he starts for Giannis, he's one of the best value plays today. If Garland is in, choose two of these three, Wall, Sexton, Drew. I'd probably take Wall and Drew if Garland is in. If Garland is out, then I would go Sexton and Drew. So, yeah. But, like, all three of those guys are really good plays tonight. Sexton, I think, he's in play regardless of the status of Garland. But obviously, if Garland sits, he gets a nice little bump. Is Gallo revenge in play or too long ago? I mean, Gallo, I don't really have any interest in, especially if DeAndre Hunter plays. I don't have any interest in Gallo. I think Gallo is definitely overpriced. Sabonis or Trey for a low-owned play? Honestly, I think I'd rather have Trey, but both are really, both are good tournament plays. I don't see either one getting that much ownership today. If I had to pick, I would say Sabonis is probably going to be a little bit more popular than Trey, but I guess we'll see. Svi or Bogdan? If DeAndre Hunter remains out, I would take Bogdan. But if DeAndre Hunter plays, I'd take Svi. Plumlee destroyed the Bulls. Wouldn't Gobert or Favors kill them? Will Moses get into foul trouble versus Cat? I mean, yeah, we discussed that. That's obviously a huge concern. Foul trouble is something that we can't really predict, but it's definitely a concern against Cat because Moses Brown does have, issue with fouls. Gobert, I mean, yeah, Gobert, he's another, like I said earlier, I don't see a ton of people paying up at center tonight. I think a lot of ownership at center is going to go towards the bottom with Zubac, Brown, Bobby Portis, a lot of ownership to those guys. So Gobert will be super low owned. It's a good matchup. You could definitely play him, but it's not like he projects that well for his salary. I mean, $8,400, that's pretty expensive for Gobert, regardless of the good matchup. Rashawn Holmes, a good GPP play. I mean, Rashawn Holmes is someone you can always play in tournaments because he can go out there and put up, 50 fantasy points any night. I don't think I'd be going there, though, even in tournaments. He would just be like, kind of a sprinkle into a lot of lineups kind of guy. I don't even think, if I was playing like 5 lineups, I don't think I'd have Rashawn Holmes in like any of my 5 lineups. What do you think? Drew, Van Vliet, Graham, Brown, Tatum, Middleton, Portis, Satoransky, or Drew, Smart, Graham, Brown? Hans, you should have just asked like the 2v2 or whatever, but Drew, Smart, Graham, Brown, Tatum, Middleton, Portis, Hayward. So you got Drew, Graham, Brown, Tatum, Middleton, Portis. So basically Van Vliet and Satoransky or Smart and Hayward. I'd probably take Smart and Hayward there. But that's close. I mean, both sides of that do look good. Would you play Jaylen Brown over Middleton? I mean, nah, I prefer Middleton. Middleton's going to be more popular, but clearly Chris Middleton is one of the best plays today. Who's the top center after Towns? I mean, I guess you could say Sabonis if you consider him like a center. So yeah, I guess Sabonis, like if you're talking about pay-up options. But like I said earlier, I think a lot of the good value today comes at center, and a lot of the good plays in the 4 to 5K range are in the center or at the center position. How do you start your build? Top value or star? I mean, tonight, like, full transparency, I'm playing Drew, I'm playing Middleton, I'm playing Bobby Portis if he starts. So I would definitely be starting my lineup with those 3 guys. Be starting my lineup with Devontae Graham, Those guys are all going to be very popular. I know that, but then, I've got four spots where I can differentiate if I need to. But like those 4 guys I think are like 4 of the best plays today, and 4 guys I'm definitely playing. I don't care if they're going to be popular. NBA is a sport where, chalk, you usually want to eat the chalk in NBA most of the time. Most of the time the chalk does well in NBA. There are other sports though, like baseball. I mean, baseball, like a chalky hitter can get you a 0. NBA, usually the chalk does well. D.I. appreciate the $10 super chat. He says, this is from D. Happy born day, Noah. Thanks for taking the time to educate us on DFS. Much appreciated. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you. And I'm glad I could help, man. I'm glad I could help. Thanks, bro. Sorry for typing too much. Oh, you're good. Sure. No problem, man. No problem. Just if you ever have like a question like that, just instead of typing out the whole lineup, just type where it's different. So just type, Van Vliet, Satoransky, or so-and-so instead of typing out the whole lineup. Can we use Draftkings in Hawaii? I have no idea. Maybe somebody in chat can answer that. I don't think you can, but maybe somebody can chat and answer that. I mean, if you're in Hawaii right now, you just log into DraftKings and see if you can do anything. See if you can enter contests. Rozier, Robert Williams versus Smart, Hayward. I'd probably still take Smart and Hayward there. If you're building one lineup, you play in the chalk. I mean, Jake, I play the best plays. Like, I play my one lineup and everything. You can play the chalk. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why people think you just have to fade, like, all the best plays. I don't understand that. And at the end of the night, when Drew has 50 and Middleton has 50, you're going to be like, why didn't I play him? I mean, I'm playing Middleton, I'm playing Drew, I'm playing Bobby Portis. They're clearly the best plays on today's slate. They project super well for their salaries. That's chalk I'm going to eat. There's times in NBA where there's guys that are popular I don't play. Tonight's one of those slates where there's good chalk, and I think, it's chalk I'm going to be eating. Thoughts on the Rockets tonight, worth paying for? I mean, like we said earlier, the only Rockets I'm really interested in are Christian Wood and John Wall. And John Wall is definitely my favorite. With Oladipo already ruled out, I do really like John Wall. But I'm probably not playing anyone else on Houston, or even considering anyone else on Houston. Portis is a lock. I mean, if he starts, Portis is clearly, one of the best value plays. Last time, so I did look this up. Last time Giannis was out, there was one game this season. It was on January 9th against Cleveland. Giannis was out January 9th, and Portis started, played 33 minutes, had like 40 DK points. Middleton started, obviously he played like 36 minutes. Him and Drew both played 36 minutes. I think Drew had like 40, Middleton had like 40, so they were both kind of disappointing. But yeah, Portis smashed when he did start for Giannis earlier this year in the one game he did. Hayward or Brogdon? I'd probably take Gordon Hayward between those two. Why get cute when no need? I mean, yeah, very true. I think, there's definitely, you need to, if you're playing tournaments, it makes sense to have, some lower owned guys. You don't want to have just, if the lowest owned player in your tournament lineup is 20% owned, then yeah, you're definitely doing something wrong. But, NBA is a sport where there's good chalk on some nights, and this is one of those slates where it feels like, you want to be playing these value guys or these chalky values and these chalky, mid-tier plays. PG or Fred VanVleet, I'd probably rather have Paul George there. Happy birthday, big man. Hope you tear it up tonight. I appreciate that, Robert. Hopefully we can get a W tonight. I appreciate that, man. Is Terry Rozier out? He's probable. Last I saw, he was probable, and I'm assuming he plays. Unless we get an update that he's not playing, I'm assuming he's good to go. He's probable, so that means he's likely to play. Do you always leave money on the table in GPP? I mean, no, Derek, you don't have to. Especially on a big slate like this, you don't need to leave money on the table. It makes sense in maybe in a large field tournament, on a 2 or 3 game slate, on a really short slate. If you want to, leave some money on the table to make it less likely your lineup is duplicated, you can do that. But you don't need to do that on a big slate like this. Do you like Turner or Brook Lopez in this game, or Brown, Pirtle better? So Moses Brown, Pirtle, or Turner and Brook Lopez. I'd probably rather have Moses Brown and Pirtle. What percentage of cash versus tournaments do you play? Lately, I've been doing a lot more tournaments. I haven't been playing as much cash. I've just been, playing tournaments recently. But I would say normally, I mean, there's people that say 80-20 is the best way to go. 80% of your action in cash games, 20% in tournaments. So like if you're playing $100, play 80 of it in cash games and then play 20 in tournaments. You could do that. I mean, it's really all up to you, JP. It's all up to your, the way you want to approach it. If you seem to have more success playing cash, then maybe you go a little bit heavier on the cash side. If you enjoy the sweat of tournaments and you want to chase that big hit, then maybe you play a little bit more action in tournaments. Normally I'm like 60-40, 70-30. But it really just varies slate by slate. Thoughts on Biyombo getting there at 3,400? Yeah, we kind of mentioned Biyombo already. I think he's a solid value, but today's a slate where we just have so many other centers that project really well. Moses Brown, Zubac, Tice, Bobby Portis, Favors, if Gobert were to be out. Like, if Biyombo plays 28 minutes tonight, does he break the slate? Probably not. Like, Biyombo, my best guess, Biyombo plays 28 minutes and scores 24 DK points, which is obviously solid at 3,400, but not really going to be someone you need to have. Whereas Bobby Portis could play 30 minutes tonight and literally drop 50, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like, Bobby Portis, he's an incredible point per minute player. Derek Favors, if he were to start for Gobert, could play 28 minutes, score 35 DK points. Like, I just prefer the upside on those guys. Hayward or John Wall, with Oladipo out, I think I'd prefer John Wall. But obviously, both those guys are in play. Where do you get your up-to-date info on Twitter? I follow Fantasy Labs NBA. That's what a lot of people follow. So just go on Twitter, look up Fantasy Labs NBA. They tweet out, injury news, starting lineups, everything you need to know. And you can turn on notifications for their account, so whenever they post a new tweet, it automatically notifies you. That's the best way to keep track of injuries. To be different, Rozier or Hayward? I would say Rozier between the two. I don't think Rozier or Hayward are going to be like insanely popular tonight. I think both will have ownership. Like, my best guess is Rozier is probably like 15 to 20% owned, and Hayward's probably around there as well. But I don't think they're going to be like 40, 50% owned. Whereas Devontae Graham, he'll probably be like 50, 55% owned. Thinking of leaving Favors in util, but nobody really to swap to other than Biyombo. I mean, yeah, like, I'm probably not, like, I'm not going to have Favors in my lineup unless Gobert gets ruled out. So I'm not building assuming Gobert sits. I'm just going to build assuming that Gobert plays, and then if Gobert gets ruled out, I will, swap and make the necessary changes I need to. I would say Lee Mike, though, it makes more sense to just build your lineup assuming that Gobert plays and then swap later if you have to. Especially since he played last game. Probably means he's going to play tonight, but yeah, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Marketing interest as a last person in. I mean, yeah, I guess as a last piece in, that's fine, but like, I really don't like any Bulls tonight outside of, maybe Satoransky. Like, he's the only guy I think I'm really even considering on Chicago. It's just not a good matchup, pace down spot. I don't really want much exposure to the Bulls here. But I guess, yeah, as a last piece in, that's fine. I don't know if there's really anyone priced around him that I'd rather have, honestly. I guess you could play like Zubac or Moses Brown, assuming Markkanen's in your util or in your center spot. Any Roby? I mean, yeah, Roby's viable. I wish he was a little bit cheaper, but with no Horford, with no Baisley, with no Dort, I'm assuming they start Roby at power forward and Moses Brown at center. Last time Roby started alongside Moses Brown, I think he had like 30 DK points, played like 32 minutes. He's probably going to put up a similar stat line to that. So yeah, Moses Brown at 5,600 is viable, but I think if he was like 4,500, he'd be a really, really good play. At 5,600, he's just, he's a solid play, but not someone that really pops off the, in terms of projection. Carne asada or fried chicken sandwich? Give me a fried chicken sandwich. You guys know I love my chicken sandwiches. I've been meaning to go buy KFC. KFC's got a new chicken sandwich. I've been wanting to try it. I'm going to have to go buy it pretty soon. I've tried McDonald's. I've tried Popeyes. I've tried Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's. But KFC's a new one. I got to go try KFC's new chicken sandwich. Right now, Popeyes, in my opinion, is the best. And you guys know that. Best chance to hit ceiling or better, SGA, Dante, or LeVert? I mean, in terms of ceiling, SGA probably has the highest ceiling there between those three. Colin Sexton or Karis LeVert? Give me Colin Sexton. Sorry, I missed your answer. Play Hayward rather than Rozier to be different. Oh, I got you. I mean, yeah, like I said, Mark, I think Hayward and Rozier will probably be, in terms of ownership, they'll probably be around the same. Maybe Rozier's a little bit more popular. I don't know if you're really going to be like too different there. Like I don't think Rozier is going to be like 30% owned and Hayward's going to be like 5% owned. I just don't think that's going to happen. My best guess is both guys come in like between 15 to 20%. So I don't know if you're really getting much, really getting too different by playing Hayward over Rozier. But I guess you can. Both guys are solid plays in my opinion. Thoughts on this for cash? Graham, Sexton, Drew, Middleton, Tatum, Hayward, Portis, and Wall. Looks very solid, very solid. Smart or DiVincenzo? I think I'd rather have DiVincenzo, but that is a close one. I feel like DiVincenzo's gives you a little bit more upside, so I'd probably rather have him. Utility 3.7K and below. If Gobert gets ruled out, it would definitely be Derek Favors there. If Gobert plays and we don't have Favors as an option, then I would say it's probably Biyombo for 3,400. I don't know if there's much down here I really like. Yeah, it would probably be Biyombo. But if Favors becomes a viable option, then yeah, I would take Favors if Gobert gets ruled out. You never mentioned Christian Wood. I mean, we've talked about Wood a little bit. Like, he's going to play 34, 36 minutes. He's 8K. I mean, that does feel a little bit too cheap for Christian Wood now that his minutes have basically been fully ramped up. Like I said, they said he was on a minutes limit last game, and then he played 36 minutes. So I'm assuming he plays like 34, 36 minutes again. For 5K or for 8K, you could definitely go there. This is a slate where there's a lot of good value plays at center, but yeah, if you want to get contrarian and pay up for Christian Wood, I think it's totally fine. Just keep an eye on make sure he's good to go, make sure there's no minutes limit or anything, because this is a back-to-back. If you're ever in Philly, visit Chickaboom. I'll have to check that out. I've never been to Philly, but I'll have to check that out. I've tried like all the fast food chicken sandwiches though. I'm sure that's pretty good. I've never heard of Chickaboom though. Happy birthday, sir. Thank you, Jeffrey, or Geoffrey. I don't know how to say your name correctly, but thank you, man. Thank you. Guys, it's about 5:30. We've been live for about an hour, so I am going to wrap up the stream here. As always, man, I appreciate all you guys tuning in. We had a ton of freaking super chats today, a ton of donations. Like D.I., Nate, Mark, like all you guys, Reggie, everyone that donated, Willie, Patrick, I know he donated at the beginning, Galvin, Cyan, like so many super chats, guys. Thank you for all the support, as always. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, man. I do appreciate it. You guys have a good night. Win some money tonight. Final takedown a tournament. Hope one of you guys do. All right? Good luck, fellas. Good luck tonight. Let's go, baby.